started my business, which was in the retail bakery sector, Did that for about 4.5 years. And then again, I was like, COVID hit. And then again, I was like, okay, now what next? Of course, when you're confused, the number one thought that comes to your mind is an MBA.
What was it that you felt that, oh my God, I really need to invest in upskilling myself? Why did you feel that need?
I couldn't get inside view from what brand, basically how the brand is becoming a brand later.
Fight is never between 1 year, 2 year or 3 years side. We all have spent 3 years, 4 years in our undergrads. What 10-20% is about consuming that content, right? 80% lies in what you are learning outside class, peer-to-peer or some other activities or something or the other we have, packaged in this 1 year. So it's about the value you are looking for, the ratio between the value and the time.
For the first time here when I came, marketing club president, different things happened. But I remember I was sitting right at the moderator chair and interviewing the ex-CEO of Z Network and later the current marketing head of Heads Up Hotels. And I thought this is the Kashyap what I wanted to be. Like I said, next to the marketing person and I interview that person.
So hi, good afternoon everyone. Super excited to welcome some of our students back to the campus.
Drum rolls.
So welcome back. You guys are coming back to the campus after a couple of months and thank you so much for making the time to do this. And I'm sure it's great to be on campus again.
Yes,
definitely.
Fantastic. So before we even get started, I think it'll be very helpful for the audience to even know who you all are and to know your journeys a little bit. So Anirudh, why don't we get started with you and tell us a little bit about what were you doing before Masters Union and what are you doing now?
Okay, so before Masters Union, throughout my life, I have been into this consulting domain. I started with technical consultancy, started with my career with TCS, then went on to ZS Associates as a management consultant. Then post MBA, I'm now with Quantum Consumer Solutions it's a marketing and design consulting firm. So kind of covering all the facets of a business. Pretty good experience so far. I was talking to someone earlier and the fact that post MBA you get a certain say when you're working in a company. But at the same point of time, they understand that you are pretty young and they nurture you and they mentor you to bring the best out of you. So a pretty good space to be in.
Very fine balance of being able to contribute and then to continue to learn and
Exactly.
grow yourself. Fantastic.
Exactly.
No, glad to hear that. Kashyap?
Hi, KK here. So, very, very different story. I started my career like undergrad in econ. I realized it's not my cup of tea.
Wish you knew before.
Then I went to work with Hindustan Times in the events, experiential marketing space. Did some really amazing projects in like thought leadership, sports, music festivals. Got to learn a lot from like the media industry, and then a year with Network 18 with Forbes, integrated marketing. Love the campaigns that we do. But I realized that there was one space of marketing I was doing, experiential marketing. But what's the other phase of marketing that I really want to go? Building brands, working with consumers. And that's where I realized that an MBA is what is missing in my life. And that's where my research and everything came into picture. MU came into picture. And here, like amazing experience being part of like amazing environment with marketing faculty, with different business faculty, entrepreneurship spirit. And now I'm working in manufacturing domain with Trident Group, which is not hotels, guys. It is the home textile manufacturers. We are based out of Ludhiana. Do buy our towels and bedsheets. Amazing. I have to market.
Head of marketing, no?
So now I joined in the chairman office for events. But now they've given me a new role, which is like head of marketing operations. I get to do brand campaigns, partnerships, events, which I really love. I'm really excited, though it's just been 4.5 months, but I'm really excited to like now get back to the industry and learn and perform what all have studied here and really make Trident number one in the Indian outside world about manufacturers, home textile manufacturers.
Shivani, same question for you.
Yeah, so hi guys, I'm Shivani. So my journey has been, very different and dynamic, I would say. I did my bachelor's in management studies. Then I went to work in a contextual advertising firm. Soon enough knew I wanted to do something of my own. Started my business, which was in the retail bakery sector, Did that for about 4.5 years. And then again, I was like, COVID hit. And then again, I was like, okay, now what next? And of course, when you're confused, the number one thought that comes to your mind is an MBA. So without thinking much, right, I got into the program, but then I knew I didn't want to do like a traditional MBA. Also, I didn't want to spend a lot of time behind it. Like 1 year is what I gave. So that's how I got into MU. Here again, I came in, I was trying out a lot of things, VC, product management, but somehow I couldn't figure out what is it that I wanted to do. And I think that's when you and the team came in, right? I think you all, in fact, fit my profile into brand partnerships. That's what I'm doing now with Cred. So again, completely different domain. It's a fintech company, right? But super exciting role, super nervous at the same time because entering corporate back after 6 years, not knowing if I'll be able to do. I've never worked in teams, always worked individually, right? Didn't have anyone like a manager or anyone above me. So was quite nervous, but super excited. And I think it's worked out pretty well because it's been 6 months for me, in fact, right? So I got placed like within 9 months of the course. I remember doing college online in a different city altogether, which was also very exciting. Like I didn't imagine, like, college would let me go, okay, take like the kind of flexibility I got. And I don't even come from a brand partnerships role, but I think I've made a place for myself in the team. So yeah, let's see how it goes. So far, so good. But yeah, super excited on like what's next because I don't know myself, and that's how I would want it to be for me.
Vibhor, what about you?
So hi everyone, my name is Vibhor, and so I graduated as a software engineer, worked at Accenture for a while. Very swiftly shifted to my family business, which is in the manufacturing space. So we manufacture primary packaging for edible oil industry. Learned a lot, so like a very good switch from tech to manufacturing. And when I went on ground, learned a lot about how small businesses work, etc., etc. And we were already doing like I think it was COVID when I joined. And within COVID, because we were serving the FMCG sector, the demand shot up, etc., and we had to expand immediately. We're doing almost pan India. The next step was to transform the company into like a corporate setup, etc. So I realized that it's time for me to skill myself up, right? And that's when I started looking at different colleges, universities, and I was majorly looking at UK, Canada, and had a couple of offers, but chose to join Masters Union. I think one of the things was before admission cycle, I remember there was a startup weekend which I came to, and then I just was in the environment, met a lot of students. So I think that's what changed me and made me more inclined towards joining Masters Union. So we have this program in our curriculum, which is VIP Venture Initiation Program, wherein we have to build our own startups. So I started building in gaming, right? And now I work at a gaming company, one of the leading RMG companies in India. I work at Hike in Founder's Office. We're building Rush Gaming Universe. And if I talk about, during MBA, post MBA, I think as soon as I entered the company, we were hit by the first Black Swan event for the industry, which is the TDS. That came in. And we were like, okay, fine, let's handle it. We did it well, 2 months into the company. I was like, what is going on? I don't understand. I had a very good onboarding, and after onboarding, we had TDS. I was like, what's happening on Explore? And we were almost every day strategizing new roadmap, etc. And we were like, okay, now 1 month in, we are fine. TDS we have handled, we're good. And then the second Black Swan event came in, which is the GST. So we were like, oh my God. And right now, I think we're doing really good. We have a lot of games on the platform. Users are loving it. The only thing is right now our backs are pushed up against the wall. But I think we do our best works when our backs backed up. So I think overall enjoying the startup life, but kind of missing my college days as well.
No, I think the ecosystem of just being there for each other goes a long way. So fantastic. Hemant?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you so much, Mahak, for having me back at campus. Got to hear so many inspiring stories about what they are doing post and it's crazy. So my journey started with my own company, right? So I graduated from the University of Delhi and did my bachelor's in commerce. And post that I started with a D2C brand called Uncultured. Did that for 3 years. I was doing really well for myself, I would say. But then COVID, came into the picture, and I had to shut my company because of some decisions I took pre-COVID. I started my manufacturing firm. That got shut, and that impacted my D2C, label altogether. So I was literally clueless what to do next because I had no experience of corporate side. I had no idea in which profile I would fit in. I had no idea, these sort of profiles really exist in startups like EIR, founder software. So I had literally clueless. Then I picked the first thing which was, readily available. EdTech, right? And so I guess that was a turning point. COVID was there, all the EdTech companies was literally booming and hiring left, right, center. I started my career for the first time with Whitehead Junior into as a sales lead, right? From there, I was trying to figure out what next and in which exact profile I can fit in. The idea is again to start building something else, but what if, you fall down again? So you have to have a benchmark, what exactly you were doing. So that was my idea of while I was just deciding what to do. So did my, this EdTech gig for a couple of years, 1.5 years to be precise. And then I went into consulting, impact consulting, totally different domain, right? Carbon markets and everything. Did that for 9 months and then got to hear about Masters Union, a place, it was like literally an escape for me. I will get 1 year to figure out, to experience a lot of things, to get back on the track of hustle, which we used to do, while we were building our own startup. So that's something, triggered me to join Masters Union, and it played really well for me. I'm back on track. I've joined Office when I was an EIR. So same level of hustle. Every day in and out, we are a fairly young company. We have just raised a seed fund, right? So we are literally building new initiative daily in and out, and we have a long way to go. So the hustle we sort of, started during the MBA journey at Masters Union has been continued for me at my workplace also. So that's what I'm doing right now. It's been 4 months, I guess. It's been a crazy journey and looking forward to it.
That's fantastic. And Hemant, I know we spoke off the campus that you have a very interesting story of how you discovered Masters Union. So I think we would love to know what's your story of how you discovered Masters Union.
So as I told you, right, I started like my career with EdTech as an industry. So I was working with Whitehead, then I joined Emeritus. So they are into education again for people who are working. And then I got a call from Masters Union for the Master Camp branch sort of you're setting up. So that was very initial days of Master Camps. So they were looking for people from the industry who have some experience. So I was, at that time I had already resigned from my past company and I was about to join the impact consulting firm. So I was on my notice period sort of. Then I made up my mind, sales into EdTech, really have to change and see what else I can do because I'm trying to figure out my zone exactly. And then the same profile came into the picture, just of course the company was different, they were setting up. So that didn't really excited me to join Masters Union as an employee, but the product itself, excited me to join as a student, right? So I had a hour-long interview with the ex-CEO, Rupesh. And from there, I got very curious to know about Masters Union PGP program. Of course, he was talking about master camps and how he's trying to build it. And scale, I was like continuously pushing him to talk about PGP. Master camps is fine. Tell me more about this. How can I take admission? And I guess that was around August, September. He was like, yes, the forms will be out soon. So from there, I of course went to the website, had a look at the profiles of the students, their stories. And that was really inspiring. The sort of curriculum I was looking for, I told you, Masters was an escape for me from the real world and to figure out what I can do. So you need some structure also to when you have to figure out, right? You just really can't sit idle and think what you can do next. So the sort of curriculum, I'm sure we're going to talk about more, that triggered me a lot. And, that's something, of course, you are from perspective of the Indian corporate culture, you're doing an MBA, but in your, in the campus, you're literally trying to do 10 different things other than just a regular MBA. So that was an idea, I will be able to get both the balls. So yeah, that's how it is.
Well, that's fantastic. So while we couldn't get you in the team, but we got you as students, so it's still a big win.
Yeah.
That's great. So let's think of the time when you all felt that yes, there's something missing, and let's do an MBA. Shivani, you spoke about it a little bit, Vibhor you also, and Hemant you also. What was it that you felt that, oh my God, I really need to invest in upskilling myself? Why did you feel that need?
So for me, it was that there was no structure to what I was doing. Like briefs were coming from different corporates. You were pitching them for sponsorship because in media, all events are sponsor-led. So I was like creating integrations for them, and for me it was just studying the brand. But it was just one side of brand. I was not studying the consumer at all. I was not studying what kind of research they are doing, what are their next steps. I couldn't get inside view from what brand, basically how the brand is becoming a brand later. It's just how can we approach them and what we can do for them at the event. So it was very one-sided thinking which was getting stuck, and I was not able to think different. And that I realized that this is, I have to take a pause here. Kashyap, this is not happening at all. There is a huge layer of marketing which is present outside, and a lot of business and strategy that goes in building a brand, and that is where like I need to I need to get my hands dirty in. And for me, it was that that aspect I was looking for. Like similarly like Vibhor, even I applied UK, but it was just, is it really like is it what I want to do just because I want to escape? I just want to escape from India and move out to abroad to like better packages and this. But it was more that, Kashyap, what is your innate talent? What is your innate understanding about marketing? Are you ready? No, you are not. Then what is the answer? So then my research happened. Different colleges were there, but the curriculum and the new approach of intent of understanding business, which I found in MU, that really triggered me to like, okay, this is where maybe a new Kashyap will form, a more confident marketeer will come into picture, and he will do something like maybe be prepared for the next 10 years, 15 years of what he can do in the field of marketing and in business understanding. And that I figured out like after I talked to like my alums, my seniors. Pratham was there, Karan was there, and that aspect I found confident in. And I have to say like that MU was the best decision I took in my education space, because see, understand, it's a middle class family, good investment, but at the end, is the investment the worth, the experience the worth? For me, it was worth. So definitely.
And while you guys were all choosing, I'm sure, the online piece, I think you gave a very valid reason of why you felt that online was not enough for you. And then you had the option of a 1-year MBA, a 2-year MBA, MBA in India, MBA abroad. How did you all make those choices that, why not a 2-year MBA versus a 1-year MBA for you all?
So for me specifically, I had about 6 years of experience before I did my MBA. So I was very certain that 2 years is something I don't want to invest in. And I was also certain as to where I want to settle down, right? And for me, it was very clear India is the place I want to be. Like, I did not even look at abroad colleges because I knew if I go there, that's where I want to settle, right? So I was very clear 1 year because that's the timeline I want to give for me to figure out what I want to do next, and I want to do it in India. And to be very honest, good options or renowned options were very, very limited at that point of time. And plus, not just that, right? For me, it was more, I was confused as to what to do. I was okay with starting up again. I was okay with going into the corporate world again. And I thought academics only would not give me that. Like, I'll learn it on paper, right? But then, when they talk about networking in MBA, I think that really, really matters. And the diversity we had here, right? It was just like, I was surrounded by engineers, I was surrounded by product managers, even consultants, right, for that matter. And they could share their experiences. At the same time, I would sit down with my engineer friends who don't come from business families or who've never even started up and were never thinking about it. I could talk to them about them and tell them my experience, right? I think that really mattered, and that also helped me figure out where is it that I want to be next. So I think that really mattered, and I think MU fits in, right? They give you an option, you want to start up, that's there in a safety net as well. At the same time, if you want to enter, say, consulting, product management, it's variety of courses, and not just in academics, with your peers who are helping you through it, telling you about their failures, their positives as well, and then you can make your way out. I didn't even know that I should be considering, say, VC, right, as an option. Like, I like startups, I like corporates. Why not consider entering a VC firm or whatever? And I was being mentored by someone, who works at Sequoia. And I even did that for a bit, right? But then later I figured, okay, wait, I'm not the person who sits behind and analyzes it, right? So it gave me that freedom to actually figure out, like he said, right? Like knowing what you don't want to do is a game in itself, and that's what worked out for me. I knew what I didn't want to do. And then I think college figured out what I actually want to do and helped me that way.
It's very interesting. It's almost like, first having the worldview of what's possible and, because a lot of times our experiences are going to limit us to think in only that much direction because that's the kind of people who we have surrounded ourselves with. But now suddenly you have these 163 diverse people from different backgrounds. You have these professors, you have other people around you who can show you that the world is so much bigger.
Absolutely.
And you go paint the world the way you choose. And like you said that it's important to also figure out in a structured manner somewhere that okay, these are things that I want to just check off.
Very true. And just to build on what Kashyap and Shivani said, more than the fact that should you go for 1 year or 2 year, the question is what you desire out of an MBA and which college in the plethora of options suit your needs. So just to go back to your question, for me, I have always been from consultancy area, and one of the perks of consultancy is that it gives you an exposure of lots of industries and lots of business in a very small amount of time. And second major point was that you surround yourself with the geniuses of the world, and there is this saying that you are the average of the people that you surround yourself with. Both of those things were getting covered for me in ME. One, coming from engineering background, you have, at least I had experience that there was lots of theories and less of the marriage between theory and practical. So when the concept of master's degree came into picture, it came with that tagline of that if doctors are being taught by doctors, why not? Why not the same for MBA, right? And that's one tick for me. Second tick was, since this is a concept, you'll get mind-blowing people. And the things that you learn from them is something that you might not gather and you might not upskill yourself in once you have chosen your field and once you have started your corporate journey, for that matter.
Right.
So that for me was the deciding factor for Masters Union.
Plus, the fight is never between 1 year, 2 year or 3 years, right? So we all have spent 3 years, 4 years in our undergrads.
Right.
We've all have studied those books, the courses you were talking about, right? So I guess for me, MBA is what 10-20% is about consuming that content, right? You can consume it online. She did half of her MBA online, right? So there can be multiple ways of consuming content, right? That's for sure. But 80% lies in what you're learning outside class. Be it peer-to-peer or some other activities or something or the other we have packaged in this 1 year. So it's about the value you are looking for, the ratio between the value and the time, right? There is a possibility you need more months to cover that value which you are trying to drive. But I guess 1 year is more than enough. 1 year, 16 months is more than enough to capture what you want to capture post your undergrad. You don't want to read those accounts books again. For sure, engineering folks might have to, but then there are other ways also to learn those fundamentals and everything, right? But the values we get outside the class is the most important factor for me, and that's what the core of Indian education system is sort of missing on, and we are trying to redo it again in terms of one course at a time, so MBA and then maybe undergrad. So that's how it is.
That's true. In this world of where everyone wants customization and personalization, IIMs have these number of years under their belt and they're known as the CEO factory. But how I see MU is that this college generates the leaders for the VUCA world. And because of this diversity, because of this fabric that we have, all this is possible.
Correct.
I think they have very profound reasons to join a 1 year MBA. I have a very analytical brain. I think as all Indians are very value perceived, I looked at the ROI, to be honest. What's the opportunity cost? What's the outcome? What is the fees, etc. And then I was like, Achha, this makes the most sense for me, right? And that was one of the reasons. I think that comes with being a banya.
I was just going to say that's a banya talk.
I related to that.
No, I think because I was in my family business, right? So everything we used to look at from an ROI perspective, right? Every investment that we make had that at back of mind always, always. I think that was one of the reasons why I joined 1 year MBA. Second was, I think, curriculum. I think overall we have 20-hour courses. We are doing a 16-month course. I am someone who performs under pressure, right? So I wanted like a very hard course wherein, because we are not just doing like in-class courses, right? We are doing out-class challenges. And apart from challenges, we have drop shipping fair. We have so many clubs going on. We do fest. I think we have done so many things together apart from just courses, etc. Right? I think that's where I felt like, okay, this is much more than I can handle, but that is what will make me, my better self. I think that is why also I joined like a 1-year program.
So, so talk to me about the experience. Once you had people saying that maybe it's a young college, you might have your own set of worries, etc. But then you finally took that leap of faith. You did your ROI calculation, and you came to Masters Union. What then? Like, what were some highlights, some lowlights? What are things that transformed you truly?
See, just to add on that, one is we, or any person aspiring to come to this college, but experiencing firsthand, I know how much effort you guys put in to sit through each and every profile to see whether this person is a fit and would contribute to the bigger ecosystem or not. I guess once you have done that effort, and once that effort is already in, the parts that come as the induction of the new, as a new batch, in itself they have that ingredient of doing something or the other, or just pushing their boundaries, and they have that it is said that keeda in their head to do something out of the box. So that, and it's just about looking at each other and challenging each other. If someone is doing something, you're like कि अरे हाँ मेरे को भी करना है, मैं भी कर सकता हूँ. And so those type of thought process is something that kept us driving. And we did a lot of things. Being a new college, being a new batch, the good part was that how we said things is how things would go on.
So I feel doubt is a very natural thing. It can be first self-doubt, it can be others doubting you also. I understand new college, marketing, doing great marketing, but are they real or not? And I feel that's something that, as I said earlier, I wanted to come and contribute, learn, contribute, grow. And I feel that is where like I shaped myself. I still remember that I come from media. I used to be at the behind the scenes and working with different speakers to ensure that everything goes perfect from their arrival to their sessions to their content. And I remember, and I had to plan everything from the speaker's perspective and from moderator perspective, questions, everything. For the first time here when I came, marketing club president, different things happened. But I remember I was sitting right at the moderator chair and interviewing the ex-CEO of Z Network and later the current marketing head of Heads Up for Tails. And I thought, this is the Kashyap what I wanted to be. Like I said, next to the marketing person, and I interviewed that person. And that experience for me, that one moment was like, yes, this is what I wanted to do, and did it. I remember the first time that 4 of us went to ISB finals. I feel going there was a big thing, but then winning there, coming first. We had this big checks carrying at T3 airport, and we were telling that nailed it.
That's fantastic. Now, so tell me, I'm sure, what's like one thing that you feel has changed in you all because of your experience here?
For me, it would be talking to the leadership. So I have, in Quantum, I have, and earlier also, there were various MBAs that were working with us, and there were various postgraduates for that matter. But across the cohort, I have seen the ease with which they can talk to the leadership, they can put their point forward, is something which is common. And this is something which sort of highlights us also. This definitely has changed.
And like you said, there are 100 CXOs that visited, and then you had these VC mixers. Definitely. So I think it becomes common to do star spotting in some way and just being able to go up and talk to them. Same question for anyone who wants to take a stab at it?
So for me, I feel to avoid the same thing. For me, I feel after doing this MBA, I'm very good in networking now. So I can.
All of us pushed ourselves out there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I remember I couldn't write cold emails. Like general thing, like I couldn't write cold emails. But then I feel the global way which we follow here, I feel that has made me now very confident. I can write to any marketeer telling, okay, this is amazing, I liked it. I don't have to think twice. And that conversion rate is also very high now because I know now how to write. So just general way of networking, of leave it marketing, just going out to speaking out to customers. Okay, what is the feedback? Hana, did you like this product? What you didn't like? I feel that confidence of understanding, having a structured thoughts, right? Asking the right questions also sometimes very important because otherwise you don't get the right answers. So that aspect overall holistically has like made me more confident in just interaction, like general interaction with anyone in general, be it marketing or non-marketing. And I feel this change which I was missing has been able to like complete in the last 16 months, which I really wanted, and I feel very confident now going out.
For me, I don't think I knew what my strengths were, right? And I think I spent this year figuring that out through academics, through, I wasn't the best at academics, I would say, right? But then I think in terms of outclass, I think if you ask anyone, I think I was always top notch at my game. And then I figured, okay, wait, this is something I need to double down on. And also, I'd never had any mentors, right, in life, because for 4.5 years I was doing my own thing without anyone guiding me as such. So I knew if I was making a mistake, but it would come at a cost, or it would come, after a very long time. So I think here I got some really, really good mentors who I can go back to even today, right? And even what Kashyap said, right? Like earlier when I would go, even in my business, if I would go to do a meeting, I would feel like, okay, I'm still young, this person won't take me seriously. I don't think that anymore, even if I'm and this probably is also coming with the corporate experience where I'm talking to, the leadership team or whatever. But then I know that I'm so confident, I know this is right, I can talk to anyone, you just get me somebody, and I know if I know I'm right, I can go ahead and talk to that person. So I think even that sense of confidence, mentorship, and my strengths, I think I spent this year figuring that out for myself.
That's fantastic. And I think to your point, it's just being able to see that the other person's also a human at the end of it. Like removing all the titles and getting to the real person behind the curtain in some way. And then feeling that, he's just like me and you, and if he can do it, I can do it too. And if she can do it, I can do it too. So no, I think that is a life skill. So fantastic.
Definitely, I would say. For me, my scale of my thought process has really scaled up. So for example, I was running my small business. Like a 1 CR number was a very big number for me. Hitting that revenue. Of course, it's very hard to get to that number also. But now that has scaled up to 100x almost. So in my current organization, 100 CR is the starting number. Even if we are trying to do a pilot run, next quarter, 3 quarters at least, if the end of the cycle, we should hit 100 CR number. Then only we are gonna invest some time and money and more efforts, setting up a team for that initiative. Otherwise, let's just scrap it off. If it's we are not able to hit that number. So that thought process in terms of how do you, the process was there. I was always able to structure things and do things for my own. But the scale of that was really on a lower side. Now that has transformed, and my VIP really helped me doing that. As we were talking off the camera, Pratham always says, if this business can become a 1,000 crore business, then only work towards it. So the idea is not to make everyone build a 1,000 crore business. I guess for his idea is to make everyone think about building a 1,000 crore business, because that's how you think those numbers. That's how you structure your problem solutions, your GTM strategies in that scenario. Maybe of course, only 2% of the total founders who start up and they really able to hit the grounds up and they continue their journey. But other 98%, 95% are left with that thought process, and that really helps them do whatever they do as a next step in their journeys. So that has really transformed, and that piece of the Outclass VIP challenge really helped me do that, and it's really helpful.
Wow, that's actually a fantastic one, Hemant, because having a big picture mindset,
Yes.
and then it's okay that you consciously decide to go for a different picture than the big picture. Well, that's great, and I'm excited that more startup enthusiasts are able to find a structure, because the country really need more people in the startups to be able to create more jobs and not be a burden on the job market per se. And when each time like a startup comes out of the campus, and even if you all have taken up a role today, I know for a fact that at least the DNA of or that fire under the belly to want to at least think in that direction is going to continue to haunt you for like couple of years, and hopefully many of you will end up starting up.
Yeah, I will just take 2 more minutes. A small exercise I did, while I was thinking what domain to pick. So I looked at profiles of all top 20 employees of big startups, be it Oyo, any other startup you talk about, their pedigree, where they're coming from. Trust me, Mahak, 90% of them were ex-consultants, right? 5 years, 6 years of consulting, and then taking up roles like, BU heads,
Right.
chief of staffs, for example. 90% of them.
Correct.
The only reason they are able to succeed, and you see the founders' profiles also, people, the only reason is because they have that structure in mind. The cases you do at MBA, the see the trees, it really helps. People may, make 100 jokes about consultants. Few of them don't. They call it the best of the brains. But yes, that helps because you have done it multiple times as a warm-up in terms of, for other businesses and businesses of that scale. So it becomes very easy for you to do it for your own startup or for a very young age startup. You join as a, into the core team. So it really helps.
I think I'll second that, because where I am today in gaming is also because of VIP. Like, we started with a problem center. I was like, I am not able to figure out one. Let me go a different route. Let me figure out an opportunity. So then we read the handbook and it's like, let's go by industry. Let's read each report and figure out where the gap is. That was the idea, right? If you're not able to come up with a problem statement yourself. So we realized, man, gaming industry is going to quadruple in next 5 years. And there is a white space to build. And that's where we started building, right? And right now, the second pivot we had while building is the same thing what we are doing at Rush, at Hike. Right? Wow. I think I'll completely second that this structure, etc. helps a lot. And I think what really was transformative for me again was that, we have so much to do, like, so plethora of things Masters Union offers, right? What I learned was extreme prioritization because of that. And I don't want to say this, but I function like a machine now. Like, if you will look at my, calendar, email, everything, like, I just literally function minute by minute, not even like, 15 minutes, 30 minutes. I don't have those gaps in days. And the output of that is better results, much more results. Right? So I'm able to do much more within that time frame. Right? And that is what I think comes from Masters Union as well. I was able to, it took me like 6 months, good 4, 5, 6 months when I entered into Masters Union to figure out, okay, this is how I can do more, because there's so much to do. Right? And then after that, I was doing much more. Whatever was possible, I will take it on my plate and do it. I think that's what really transformed for me, and that is why, always mind is always at, how can I achieve more? How can I, get more outputs from the same time that I'm investing?
Fantastic. I'll segue a little bit now. And all of you have had a very unique and different placement journey. And I feel at Masters Union, we don't have anything set in stone in some way in terms of, this is the only way to do placements, that is the only way. We have companies that are coming almost like the day 0, day 1. Then we have some people going into startups, some are doing live projects, and that's getting converted. Someone like you was able to work in the global way, get your own job, etc. So talk to me about what worked for you to get to where you are today.
So for me, I feel this is a very common question, Mahak. What happens is that a person is coming before MBA. For him, the dream job is there. Okay, he wants that dream job he or she always wanted to be. He wants that dream role. He wants that dream package. He wants that dream manager, that location, everything. So there are 5, 6 tick boxes, and you want everything to be ticked.
Correct.
But it doesn't happen in the real world. You need to choose. So for me, it was always the interest, my passion, like marketing, yes, ticked. I was never of the hesitant I would want to go back to media. I was like, I want to test something new. So manufacturing, like, there was something, I'll go something new. I don't know, fintech, manufacturing, or anything. But I wanted something like, I preferred role over industry. And I was like, package, this definitely everyone wants it. To a certain extent, I was realistic about it. Okay, this is where I want to be because I come from an events experience. Location was never my like key priority, but then certain, like the clarity that you get over when you work with your place comm, when you work with your team, that they are refining you at every moment, giving clarity over every moment. You have practicums, like Mukesh Ghuraiya. I remember Mukesh Ghuraiya was just a Seiko session. He turned like a practicum professor for us. And he used to tell us very, Kashyap, this is the reality of marketing industry in general. So have your priorities set. If you role, then go for a role. If you want to be a brand manager, marketing manager, prepare yourself for that. Do interviews, like we have mock interviews we had group discussions. From a personality, how should you portray yourself? Those stories that you should like definitely mention in the interview. So all those small things prepare you for like the interview, like the D day or that you have.
It was in fact a little different from me, like how Kashyap knew, right? Like what role, like what was the most important factor for him. I had 4 checkboxes: location, role, brand and industry. I was very clear, if any of the 3 checkboxes, the day I get a tick, that's what I'm going to go for, right? But at the same time, because I was so confused, I had already started my placement prep in terms of interviews, in terms of my resume, etc. And even when, like, you know, I had not, like, even I got 2 offers, right? I got the offers on the same day. Yeah. So pretty, like, it was madness. And one offer I got, like, in one day I interviewed 3 rounds, and like in the night I got the offer, right? And the interview came out of nowhere. I had not applied for it. In fact, both, you know, the team found that I might be a fit for this role, and they just told me, you know, just go for the interview. If I wouldn't have practiced, you know, say behavioral questions. Of course, every role would need different set of questions, but there are those core, you need to know about your background, you need to know about behavioral questions or how you're going to answer. Just be prepared with your resume in and out, right? That's something I had already done and I had kept. So the moment both the interviews came, I was so prepared for it, even if I didn't know, right? And for both, I stuck to the same 4 checkboxes, right? Okay, location tick, package tick, industry growing, role, okay, tick. And that's, I think, how I chose my journey, and I'm pretty happy about it. So I think it's different for everyone, but everyone needs to figure out what is it that works out for them and stick by it.
I think very similar to Shivani. I think we all say, right, you connect the dots afterwards, right? I think that is what was for me. I think where I am today is also because culmination of things, right? I think we started with, you know, me and Abhi started building Web3 community. So we had certain exposure of Web3. And then Anirudh and I were building in gaming, right? So I think a lot of things came together perfectly to make that particular role for me. And I wanted to join like a generalist role because I have been generalist all my life. Before I was also in my family business, sort of doing everything on the table, right? I think that's what pointed me towards that. In terms of ticks, etc., I didn't have a lot. I mean, I remember we had that placement handbook, right? And we had like table. Do you guys remember? We had like all the domains and Kaggle and the average the average packages, etc. So that day, on the first day, right? First placement, Town Hall Pratham gave that handbook to us, and I was like, okay, highest Kaggle tick, highest CTC tick, these 2 roles I'm going for. I'm not even kidding, that was my again ROI.
The day Pratham showed, marketing was the lowest. I was like,
nahi karna hai.
Pratham, we need to change this.
And you did, right?
Yeah, 260% increase in.
No, because he had fixed, right? Like he knew what he wanted to do. But similar to Shivani, I had nothing set in stone. I was very fluid. I was like, okay, I want to explore things and then I want to go where I enjoy the most. But I still wanted to have a goal in my mind that this is the, you know, this is where I want to be when when at the end of the day.
Yeah, interesting. So my journey, I was not preparing for the interviews, and fortunately or unfortunately, I never have given structured interviews sort of before coming to Masters in any of my jobs. Let me complete. So yeah, during COVID, I joined Whitehead. It was like somehow I just got on a call with the director for 15 minutes and I was hired. So I've never, I heard a lot of people talking about 4 rounds, 5 rounds, group discussion. Never experienced that. So I was just, urge of starting my journey, and then one of the interviews happened for me with an academy. And the night before we got to know, one of the CXOs is coming to the campus, and these are the profiles, who you want to meet. And we were like, dude, what? We had no idea, and I guess it was an off for the whole campus, and we just 15 of us came to the campus for that particular reason. And the moment I entered the room, he was like, see, I have read your resume, you have done some work, so that's fine. I have just one question for you. What do you think, smart work or hard work? What is the most important thing? And I gave him an answer. He was like, okay, nice to meet you. I was like, dude, what just happened? Right? And that's what my first interview. And then I came, I came out of the room and I was literally panicking ki exactly hua kya. And then I just thought ki this can't go like this. At least you should know you are making it to the next round or not. It can't be so indecisive in your head at least. So you should be prepared, very well prepared for these behavioral questions, technical questions about your resume, and you just can't be just waiting for the results. It turned out well for me. I don't know how. Okay, so then from that day I started, of course I had to go through that journey also for that particular role. So then I started my preparation, and then I started giving mock interviews for a lot of people with my peers only who had worked in the similar industry. I remember, taking those 6 a.m., 7 a.m. interviews with them. So I did that. Then I started reading those reports about industries, right? Then I made a plan ki, in 2 weeks I will have to eat up one industry at whole, right? If I'm talking at tech, then other industries and other industries. So that's how my preparation sort of started from that interview itself. Right. And then, of course, that job, that's history. So one interview I had with the CXO, the last interview I had with the CEO of that company, and that was a complete roller coaster.
So my last question, and we would like to wrap up after that because I know we're getting ready for the next one. My last question is, now that you're on the other side where you are the alumni and the brand ambassadors of Masters Union, I'm sure you're flooded by a lot of questions from students who are considering to join Masters Union or to do MBA otherwise. What is maybe the top one question that comes to you, and anything that you want to share so that you're answering like a frequently asked question as people consider Masters Union?
I think I don't get a question, I get a statement, this is too good to be true. You're lying. So I'm like, no boss, listen, I mean, I can give you proofs if you want, but let's just talk, let's just have a different conversation. Is basically what was my experience, and I can tell you these are the professors that come in, these are the CXOs I have met. This is if we have made a startup, right? We have the pitch decks, we have everything, we have done the demo day, all the content is out there. So I think that is one statement I get a lot, that it seems too good to be true. Tell me what's the catch. I'm like, I don't know, man. I for me there was no catch. I mean, I had certain expectations, they were met, and I'm happy. And now I am working at a place where I'm enjoying myself. So I think I will always give that credit to Masters Union. And that's about it. I think that's of course, that's like a combination of lot of questions, but that's the top thing which I keep hearing a lot.
Fantastic.
Simple words, other placement,
more genuine. Other placements real.
Yeah, we are here.
I think half of our time goes in just talking to, aspiring students wanting to come to Masters Union. Our LinkedIn's are always flooded. YouTube videos are always flooded with questions. This one's brother wants to get in. So, yeah, I mean, talk to the students out there. I think they're the best judge of.
No, fantastic. Thank you so much for this incredibly insightful, candid conversation. And as we continue to build in our journey, thank you for continuing to be those supporters and believers and brand ambassadors for the campus And thank you for patiently answering all the queries that are flooding your inboxes as we continue to go forward. So thank you again, everyone.
Thank you, man.
Always happy to be back.
Yes, always.